Hey, we've been waiting all day for this and all week. Welcome to the Wise Guys as we welcome December and Big 12 Championship Week. Wise Guys is the largest BYU sports live stream show in the world and the most watched collegiate sports live stream talk show on YouTube. Dave McCann, Blaine, Fowler. The live stream is hopping tonight. It's been a roller coaster day all over Cougar Nation. We welcome everybody. We welcome your comments, and we're gonna have a fun show tonight.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I'm just reading already the chat is fired up and going. Let's first of all talk where people are from. We got Orem in the house already. Don't forget, guys, whether you're fired up or not, tell us where you're tweeting us or where you're jumping in from. So. Ridgecrest, California's in the house. Huntsville, Alabama's in the house. People are saying, "Hey, Dave, thanks for being the voice of reason." You know what's happening right now? The chat is moving so quickly, I can't even keep up with it. There's so many.
It's going to be a big night for
North
us.
Orem's in the house. Owasso, Oklahoma's in the house. Everybody's saying, "Give us some good news." We'll give you some news. But things are still up in the air as we speak.
We can tell you Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, by Eddie, Mountain America Credit Union, distributed by the Deseret News. Watch for our podcast tomorrow, wherever you get your podcasts. And boy, the stream is flying tonight.
It's going
is great stuff.
You know when you're trying to read it and it's just going up, that there's lots of people on board tonight. So we appreciate you all being here. We understand your concern. We'll try to cover as much of this as we can, along with everything else. There's so much going on with BYU sports this week. Yeah, in case you didn't notice, it's a busy night, right? So don't forget to subscribe to our free email at wiseguys.com, ysguys.com. Also watch for all of our past content there when you get to that website. So many great guests over time. And we'd also love it if you'd hit that free subscribe button on your YouTube channel.
Just hit it. Just hit it.
Subscribe. So, somebody says Ryan Smith to the rescue, or the crumble cookie guy. Here's what we have on the big show tonight. BYU's in the Big 12 championship game Saturday against Texas Tech. We'll preview that. Blaine will give us the 3 keys to victory there. Yep. And then we'll hear from Kalani Sitake on the rumors about this whole Penn State coaching vacancy. We'll hear directly from Kalani on the show.
So, as you can see, the stream is abuzz on that. We have our thoughts on it in just a few minutes. I think you'll be eager to hear, and we'll tell you what Kalani said today about it, and then kind of what's going on, at least from what we know. Tagert Baron is the president of the BYU alumni chapter in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He's going to join us live a bit later on with info on the tailgate and the service project around the Big 12 championship game there in Arlington this weekend, and there's some good stuff going on with that. And then,
we're talking about big-time guests for championship week, right?
Yeah.
How about we just bring a Heisman Trophy winner on the show? So Ty Detmer is going to join us. Tonight is the 31st or 35th anniversary of him being announced as the Heisman Trophy winner.
Can you believe that? We're so young.
We were with him.
And we were with him. There's no way we're that old. And there's no way he's that old.
2 things. We were with Ty, and we were also in Hawaii.
Yeah, those are 2 good things.
Those are 2 really good things. 35 years ago tonight, Dave and I were together, ready to call a game in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Enjoying the beach, because you know what? We're not players. We can go to the beach the day of the game.
Sure we can.
And then we were there as Ty found out, and LaVell found out that he won the Heisman Trophy.
So we'll talk about that. We'll also get Ty's preview of this Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
It is a perfect night to have Ty Detmer on Wise Guys. BYU Hoops is back at the Delta Center. We're calling that game on Wednesday night.
That's a busy week for us.
An unbeaten team's coming in to play BYU. I guess they beat Colorado tonight, but Cal Baptist is off to a nice start. We'll talk about that, and we'll have our Relight Athlete of the Week. And when you hear that, you'll go, yeah, that makes sense.
Every week when we go, it's just so obvious this week. I mean, there's multiple choices, but the one that we've chosen every week is just so obvious with the performance, right?
Yeah. Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, and packaging equipment, dispensers, and service and repairs with over 150 distribution facilities around the country, 6,000 employees. Learn more at bradyplus.com. Those 6,000 employees have an awesome boss named Travis Brady, who was on our show recently, and we love their support.
Yeah. Also by Mountain America Credit Union, helping people achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, managing daily expenses, Mountain America has the tools, the technology, and guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you at macu.com. That's macu.com.
By Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. Whether you run a dental office in Spanish Fork, Utah, or a construction crew in Lehigh, Eddie helps you hire, onboard, track time, and run payroll. All in one place. Simple, local, reliable. Built by business owners who believe people come first. See how Eddie can serve your team at eddy.com.
And then our Relight Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. And we're going to announce that here in just a sec.
Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News and Deseret.com, Utah's newspaper since 1850. All right, let's talk about what everyone's talking about. Here's how
the
we're
whole
going to do
stream.
it.
Is there anything not about that on the stream yet?
Not yet.
No, somebody said can't wait to hear from Ty. Had a fun time cheering on the Cougs in Orlando. That's cool.
That's true. That's true. And a couple of folks heading to the big game. So there's those three things.
We'll be in Arlington. Columbus, Ohio's in the house, by the way, the home of the Ohio State University, right?
Yeah, they look good. They look good.
So
here, let's talk about what everyone wants to talk about. But here's how we're not going to do it. We're not going to swing over here and then swing over there, which is what has been going on social media all day long. 1 minute, Kalani has taken the Penn State job. The next minute, he hasn't. And the truth is somewhere in between. But as we know right now, he's still the head football coach at BYU, and they're preparing for a big football game against Texas Tech on Saturday. But we do know that the Nittany Lions are courting Kalani to be their next head coach. They're one of the more storied programs in America, and they have Big Ten money. And Kalani is 22-3 in his last 2 years as a member of the Big 12.
If you're Penn State, who else are you going to go get right now for that job? Like if Kalani doesn't take this job with Penn State, then they're going to take a step down with who they're going to get. Because right now in Power 4 football, he would be the most perfect fit for Penn State. Happy Valley is a conservative kind of culture type place. And he'd be the perfect candidate for that job. If I'm the AD and the president at Penn State, I'm coming full force for Kalani Sitake right now.
All those teams should have been.
Yeah.
All those teams should have been.
Yeah, and you know what? Florida probably should have too. And who knows? Maybe they did, right?
So
I'll tell you who else. UCLA.
Yeah.
He'd be an unbelievable fit at UCLA.
When asked about it today during the Big 12 Championship News Conference, Kalani said, quote, "This is a great distraction to have, let's be honest. But right now we need to be focused to make sure we give our best shot in this game against Texas Tech." Now, a lot of Cougar Nation heard that and said, well, he didn't say he wasn't taking that job, so he must be taking that job. And then everyone went that way. And then later in the day, all of a sudden it was like, well, you know what now? And we do know that BYU's working to keep him. And now all of a sudden, maybe we've swung over here. But the fact that Kalani didn't just kill it, kept it alive. And that's one thing that is true.
Because he's not going to lie. Kalani doesn't lie, right? No. And so he doesn't want it to be a distraction. We know that it's real, that it's out there. And so it's hard. The college football schedule, the way it's set up, signing day, portal times that they're open, all of this stuff is like stupidity at its finest. Like, because this is crazy that Lane Kiffin has the number 6 ranked team in the country that is in the SEC and has a chance to go win a national championship, and now he's not coaching them in the playoffs. The calendar is messed up. All of this stuff shouldn't happen until after the season is over. Portal opening shouldn't be going on, at the current time. Signing date shouldn't be right now. It should all be in February, like it used to be in the olden days. I hate to look long for the olden days, but it's a mess. And college football has put themselves in this mess. This is when teams, and the other thing that's a mess, teams fire coaches in the middle of the season now.
Yeah.
You lose 3 games and it doesn't matter that you went to the national championship game 3 years ago. Doesn't matter.
Penn State, you're out. You're fired.
Right. And so part of the issue is the timing, and the timing is what it is because of the way the NCAA has it set up right now with all these different things that play into it. So
now there's the psyche of it all. There are 2 big reasons, I think, why people leave their dream jobs. and it could be in any business. Generational money, which Penn State can offer. And that generational money isn't just a lot of money. It's a boatload of money. The coaches get paid good, but this is next level type stuff where from generations on down, your posterity is going to reap from this. Or they feel disrespected. I think that's the only reason why someone would leave their dream job. It's not so dreamy because I don't feel valued here.
Yeah.
And
or you feel like there's probably a part of that is that feeling disrespected is I have to have the resource. Like if you want me to compete at the highest level, I have to have the resources to pay the staff, to do NIL, to have the facilities, I've got to have at least a bare minimum of these resources to be able to compete at the highest level. So if your expectation is you want me to compete at the highest level, I need this. And if you're not getting that, that goes along with then you're not respecting me. Like it's disrespectful to expect this out of me and not give me what I'm telling you I absolutely need the bare minimum to do it. So it's either so much money that you just go, how do I not go do this?
Right.
Or it's I've got to have resources in these things to compete, and I need to feel like I'm respected by giving me these resources. And if I'm not, so there's both of those things can come into play. And you want to know what both could be in play on this thing.
Yeah, if you read through the tea leaves, you go back to the last time that he was negotiating his contract because Oregon wanted him.
Right, and Washington before that.
He was quite clear in coming through this that he did get a raise, but his emphasis was on taking care of his staff.
Right.
With some promises and all that stuff that were supposed to happen. So you've got to figure that here we are a little bit further down the road, and now a bigger spender is coming in, offering much more than Oregon offered. And the thing has to be the same. Kalani's never been about the money. He's always said that. He's got enough money to live his life, but he is always concerned about the people around him. And he was back in his last two contracts, and it's easy to see that would be the sticking point in this one is I could leave, and maybe I still will, but I could leave for all this money and opportunity and coaching the Big Ten and all that stuff, which most coaches would dream of doing.
Right.
It's a big-time job. But Kalani's always believed that BYU is the big-time job because it's his dream job. And dream jobs are different than other jobs. There are good jobs, but then there are dream jobs. You know, a baseball manager might love managing the Brewers, but he's been a Dodger fan his whole life. So the chance to manage the Dodgers, that's different than this one, even though both were good jobs. And so when you're thinking, well, BYU, are they gonna come back and say whatever Penn State's offering, we'll match it, even though it's like, 3 times what we've currently paid you? Probably not. That's not how BYU does it.
Right.
But they could come back and be competitive. Certainly with what he's done, he's 11-1 and 22-3 in the last 2 seasons. That deserves a raise in this business. That's sure. But what they could do is say, yeah, we'll improve that and we'll meet what you want for your staff.
Right. That
they can do. And then it becomes, do I want to live in Happy Valley or the other Happy Valley?
Right.
And they both call it, really loves listening in this Happy Valley.
No, this is Kalani's place. This is who Kalani loves. And BYU does not have to match what Penn State's doing.
No.
And Kalani has never been and is still not, regardless of the Twitter whiplash you're all getting today where people say, I can't believe he's leaving for the big money. That's not what Kalani's about. It's still not what he's about. Kalani is interested in long-term security and sustainability of the program. And so he's interested in his long-term being secured. I think he'd like a little longer extension that takes him. Kalani wants to be here and retire from here and hand it over to whoever, right? That's what he wants to do. So I think he wants some security taking him to that. He wants to be fairly paid, but I don't think Kalani's ever said, hey, I need to be the top paid guy in the Big 12. No, he just wants it to be fair.
But according to our calculations, and they're loose, but according to them, next year Kalani will be the 15th highest paid coach in the Big 12 out of 16 teams. And this year he's winning the Big 12. Right? At least playing in the championship game, having tied Texas Tech. And so as you forecast the future, it's like you just have to are you a pretender or a contender? Contenders continually invest. Pretenders just hope it works out.
Yeah.
Without the investment.
And so he's never really chased dollars. If he's chasing dollars, he would have taken $8 million a year at Oregon 3 years ago. Right. It's about, hey, I need you guys to step up. I need to have the resources I need to take care of all my staff so I can keep them, so I can retain them. He probably does need to be paid a little bit more so that he's more in the middle of the league, right?
Yeah.
He's not asking for everybody to be paid at the top of the league either. He just wants fair. And he also needs some dollars for resources for the things they need to do, facilities and those kinds of things, right? He's about a full, like the full meal deal is what he's looking for. And it's not, hey, I'm just going to go to the highest bidder. That's why BYU can. So everybody's like all depressed about our conversation so far. But this, guys, is why BYU can compete for him right now. Because he's not asking them to do what Penn State's going to do. He doesn't need these contracts now at these top 10 schools are $50, $60, $70 million contracts. That doesn't need that much per year, right? They're paying these guys $8, $9, $10, $11, $12 million a year. He doesn't need that. And he would stay for way less than that. I'm certain of it. If he feels like he's got a chance to compete and he has the resources that he needs. And I know that's what BYU's working on right now is they're having discussions with him. It's like, what do you need? Let's figure this out. That's what's going on right now.
So the question is, do you think he stays or do you think he takes the Penn State job? National Signing Day is Wednesday. BYU is set up to sign their highest rated recruiting class in program history. Yep. Talked with recruiting guru Jeff Hansen today, and he said, yeah, it's top 25. If Sitake goes, all bets are off. And that would be true. And Jeff's going to be on the show in 2 weeks as we break down the recruits once the dust settles from that. But so there's that. Then there's the Big 12 championship game on Saturday. Kalani said he didn't want it to be a distraction. It is a distraction. It's just going to become a bigger one. Later tonight, tomorrow, as we get closer to the weekend, it's out there now. And so it's you're either going to, it's like that song by The Clash, should I stay or should I go? What do you think he does?
I don't know as of tonight. Ask me tomorrow morning. But I do think that he's going to know what he's going to do sooner than later. I don't think it's going to drag on.
Yeah. I don't think it can drag on because Penn State's got to go find somebody else if this doesn't work out.
R. Gross says, I'm a Penn State fan and respectfully, we don't want him as a coach. There's only room for one Mormon on campus, and that's Sanderson, Kale Sanderson.
The wrestling coach.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
By the way, I'm a little closer to this than people think. I took recruiting visits to Pittsburgh, Penn State. I grew up just north of Penn State in upstate New York. That was it came down to Penn State or BYU. I sat and talked to Joe Paterno at his desk 2 times. Went on my recruiting visit there. Todd Blackledge was my host there. I know all about the Penn State program. Followed him since I was a little kid. And let me tell you this, Kalani is a perfect fit for Penn State. More so than almost any job I can think of in the country. And that's why they're coming after him. Now, do I think that they're going to get him? I think BYU will step up and get him what he needs.
I agree with you. I think when it's all said and done, he stays. He is, some of it might be wishful thinking. Some of it's just smart business sense. And some of it is we know Kalani enough that he's living this dream. He wants the LaVell legacy. He doesn't care about who's the president is or the AD. He's not here for those guys or for the science department. He's there because LaVell built this thing.
Right.
And now he has the opportunity to be a part of it, and he's really good at it. I think if you were to draw up, and here's how I feel about where the church would be on this, church leadership, board of trustees. Elder Razban is the liaison between the 12 and BYU and all that stuff. But if you were to draw up your dream head coach for BYU, on and off the field, in the locker room, out of the locker room, it's him.
Yeah.
Turned missionary, born in Tonga, loves it, lives it, preaches it, is respected by every single person Every coach in college football, what's the first thing they say? Man, we love Kalani. I just love Kalani. Even the other day, Scott Frost was saying, I just love that guy. He's just, and so if there was this dream candidate that could be your football coach, this is it. There is another one right now.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? If Jay Hill's the new head coach down the road, he'll be great. But there's only one Kalani, and right now so you would be crazy to let him walk out the door. Insane.
This combination that BYU has right now of Kalani as the head coach and Jay as the defensive coordinator, guys, it's like a match made in heaven, and here's why. Jay is all about X's and O's. One of the best X's and O's guys I've ever been around. Phenomenal. Great play caller as a defensive coordinator. And he's really, really high accountability. But the culture of this program right now is 100% set by Kalani Sitake.
Sure.
And I just to give you a couple examples of transfers that I've talked to in this last year. Gentry, who came from Michigan, and I was talking to him, he's like, oh man, when I was coming out of high school, if BYU had been in the Big 12 then, I would have come to here because I wanted to play for Kalani. I wanted to play for that guy because I love that guy. I loved him during the recruiting process, and I love this culture, and that's why I'm here now, because they are in the Big 12 now. And then when I talked to Keanu Tanavasa, I'm like, what made you decide to come down here? Well, now that BYU's in the Big 12 and they're a winning program, this is where I always wanted to be. This is where I should be. Kalani Sitake, I love him. He's a mentor to me. The culture that he's created here is the culture I want to be part of. And it's not just those guys. Trey Alexander, I love the culture here. I love Kalani Sitake. I love playing for Coach G. But every single one of these kids that's in this program loves the program because of its culture, right? And then he's surrounded himself with great assistants. And so Kalani is the culture setter. Jay is the X's and O's guys. A-Rod's the X's and O's guys. Guys, this is a great staff right now. And it's working perfectly because culturally, for recruiting, it's home run, right? They just are landing right now here, which is tomorrow or the next day, 2 days.
Wednesday, yeah.
The number one recruiting class in the Big 12. Do we ever think that was possible? That is Kalani, right? So that's why you want him to be here. And you know why he's so good at recruiting to BYU? Because he understands what the culture is.
Yeah.
And he convinces people, whether they're members of the predominant faith or not, that this is the best place for you because of this culture. And wow, has he had success with it. You think about the Bachmeiers, they love it here.
Yeah.
They love this culture. And so it's really, really important that BYU gets him to stay, and they have another few years to have this staff intact the way it is. And that's what Kalani wants. Now, it's the thing that's hard is with the church kind of overseeing it. Now, keep in mind, the church does not pay Kalani, right? So tithing dollars aren't contributing to athletic salaries and that kind of stuff. That's all coming out of the revenue. The athletic department runs in the black, right? It's a combination of the revenue that comes in from the Big 12, ticket sales, all those kinds of things, and donors, right? It's not tithing dollars that support that. So, but the church still wants to make sure the optics don't look bad. And when you look down there and you go, whoa, like this is going to be the highest paid, if we do all these things, he's going to be one of the highest paid guys in the state of Utah. What are the optics of that? What message are we sending? So they're very thoughtful about that, right? But the reality of this is, let's go to every state in the country, and it's not every state, but every state that has a Power 4 football program in it, the highest paid employee of the state is a head football coach someplace. Do you know who the highest paid employee of the state of Utah is?
Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah, not the chairman of the neurovascular surgery department at the University of Utah, right?
No.
Think about that. Kyle is probably triple the chairman of the neurovascular department, who's a surgeon at the University of Utah. That's how it is today, folks. And so BYU's got to kind of get over the optics and recognize that this is what this job pays now. And if they want to be big time and they want to compete, they got to get over the optics.
We'll ask Ty Detmer here in a few minutes what he thinks about all that. And it's certainly a challenge for Brian Santiago, the new athletic director, and his staff over there to kind of work through this. as a big dog comes barking for their head football coach. The Cougar Board question of the week is from Preppy, one of their insider subscribers. Cougar Board, the largest online community of BYU fans. That thing's hopping today. This lives for a day like today. You want to go to the Pendulum? That's where you can see it swinging. And Preppy asks, there are rumors of Kalani being offered by other schools. How does this not become a distraction to the team? That's a really good question because it is a distraction until it's resolved.
Right.
We're not naive to that. They can say we don't want it to be a distraction, but it absolutely is one. And that'll be a challenge if it lingers all week long, which I don't think it will.
And here's the thing. It doesn't really affect practice. It affects all the time outside of it because guess what? The players are getting texts and phone calls from everybody just like we all are, right? And so it's the outside of practice time. And so the actual preparation time when they're in meetings and on the field, you think about it, Kalani doesn't coach a position group as the head coach at all. So he's out there and he's overseeing things and he's coaching the coaches, right? If anything, it's distracting to the coaches. Like, hey, if he takes this job, am I going to go with Kalani and move to Happy Valley in Pennsylvania, or am I staying here? What am I going to do? So it's distracting them. But they get out on the field, and Jay's over there running the defense, and A-Rod's running the offense, and the individual play, like the safeties are running with Gavin, and Gennaro's got the corners, and K-Pop's got the rush ends and the outside backers, and Justin's got the inside backers, and Sione and Gary Anderson, like they're with their guys, and they're going through their scouting reports, and they're learning what they're going to do. It's not affecting practice at all. So the prep for the game, but it is distracting and taking away from their focus when they're not on the practice field because that's all anybody's talking about right now.
And they're on social media. They live on social media.
So the sooner the better, right, that they figure out what's going on.
So we'll keep you posted on that. We'll have some more reaction to it as we roll through. This football game is a pretty big one with BYU on the outside of the college football playoff looking to get in. New rankings come out tomorrow. BYU's strength of record is now up to number 6. That's higher than Ohio State, Indiana, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Notre Dame, and Miami. It's not going to be enough to change minds on that committee. It should, but it's not. AP has them at 11. Coaches poll has them at 11. The only way they're getting in this college football playoff, in my opinion, is if they knock down the front door by beating Texas Tech.
Right.
And then Texas Tech gets the at-large, and Oklahoma, Notre Dame, or somebody else is forced out because there's no room for them.
And part of the problem is a couple of these teams in front of BYU with 2 losses don't play any more games.
No.
Right? It'd be great if they were all in a championship game. But these SEC teams, like, they aren't even playing in the SEC championship game. Like, there's a chance that somebody playing the SEC championship game could get humiliated and drop below them if they're right in front of them. But that's not. There's a bunch of teams in front of them that aren't even playing this week.
Yeah, just championship teams are playing.
So
this
you would
week.
think they would come to their senses, and let's say BYU went down there and it was one unbelievable football game, and BYU lost with Texas Tech kicking a field goal with no time left on the clock by 3.
I think we'd be in the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah, I think you'd still be at the Pop-Tarts Bowl, probably playing USC.
Yeah.
Right?
And you know what? I would love that game. I would love that game.
That wouldn't be too bad. But if they beat Texas Tech, I think Texas Tech's a lock. So for the league's sake, the best thing in the world would be for BYU to win this thing, and then Yormark's going to get 2 teams in, and I think both teams can win a first-round game, and I think both teams have a chance to advance. Texas Tech's really good. I think BYU's good, too. Nobody's going to run away from them with the way they play defense.
Final standings in the Big 12. Texas Tech and BYU first at 8-1. Utah's third at 7-2. Houston, Arizona, and Arizona State at 6-3. Here's what we learned, and we just saw it on the stream. Sione Moa is on the depth chart. Yes, he is back on the depth chart. This came out today.
We've been waiting for him to get help.
And maybe we'll see him this weekend.
None of these games count against your redshirt year. So the idea was when Sione missed a certain number of weeks, we're like, now we need to redshirt him because we need him to come back next year.
Have a whole season.
And have the whole season back. So he's ready to go. Tommy Prasis, the starting nickel at the beginning of the season, once he got hurt, they decided to redshirt him. He's back this week. He's been ready to go for 2 weeks, but he couldn't play because he'd already played in 4 games. So he'll be back this week. The linebackers are as healthy as they have been. Jack Kelly told us he's the healthiest he's been in like 6 weeks. And so this is a healthy football team going into this game. And I think that's really, really important. And you're going to get some red shirt guys back that are now going to be able to play, that played early, got hurt, and they sat until the end of the year. Sione and Tommy are the 2 most visible that I can think of.
You know what? Our headliner's ready to go. Let's bring him in, even a couple minutes early. It was 35 years ago tonight on December 1st, 1990, when Ty Detmer became the first Heisman Trophy winner in BYU history. And that makes today a big deal. Our pleasure to welcome Ty back to the Wise Guys tonight from his Arizona lair. Ty, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Hey, we're good. Hey, you went 11-2 this year. Of course you're good down there. Nice job.
Yeah, man, we lost in the semis again on Friday night, so we were close, and the boys, I told them they exceeded my expectations, so it was a good year, but didn't quite get where we wanted to. But it was a fun season with them.
But 11 wins, like that's
how many the Cougs have.
Winning 11 practices is hard to do these days, Ty. Let alone winning 11 football games, right?
It is. We played some good football as the season went on. We got better and better, and just fell a little short the other night. So.
Hey, look, we're going to ask you some stuff that's going on right now with Kalani and BYU, but it's anniversary night, so let's first tackle this thing. Does it seem like 35 years ago?
No, not at all. I mean, I do have 7 grandkids now, so I guess it has been a little while, but. No, I mean, when you're out there with the boys at practice or game nights, it feels just like it was yesterday, that you were out there playing. So it goes quick.
Yeah, we were just reminiscing ourselves, Ty. Like Dave and I were there with you in Hawaii. And what people don't realize is I was laying on the ground in front of the bunch of you holding the microphone up so they could hear it. So you could see my hand in the mic. But we were there with you 35 years ago. What do you remember from that day and when that was announced? And nobody could hear but you, because you had the headset in and you heard, and you had to kind of tell everybody else that was there all gathered around you.
Yeah, technology was a little different 35 years ago. No cell phones. I had to go find a pay phone to call home. All those things. So, but it was neat. After now being at the announcement and things and seeing, some of the players, they have their family there and their coach and maybe 1 or 2 players. For me, I got to have the whole team, the whole program there, and everybody that was a part of the whole deal, part of the Heisman. Everybody that was there made it possible for that to happen. And I just happened to be the single person to go represent it. But, it was a lot of fun to have everybody there and just the spectacle of it all, being in Hawaii and everything are fond memories, having the guys around you.
Who was it that threw you in the pool afterwards? You remember?
I think it might have been Brian May, one of our linemen. He was big enough to do it. So, there were a couple of them. Chris Smith probably was a part of that. He's always got something to say. So,
well, Ty, let's go back 45 years when you're playing Pop Warner down there in San Antonio. Did you ever dream of one day winning the Heisman Trophy?
No, I mean, that's just something that you don't really dream of. The dream was to play in the NFL. I was a huge Cowboys fan growing up. Roger Staubach was my guy, and so the dream was to be able to play in the NFL. And then I had a chance to see Earl Campbell win it at the University of Texas. That was big news at that time, and saw him play a game at Texas Stadium, and then but going to BYU, was obviously, you see all the awards on the wall, the Davy O'Brien medals, those types of things. The All-American pictures were on the team room. Going in there, you just hope, man, it'd be cool if I could have a picture up there one day being an All-American or having a Davy O'Brien medal at some point. But the Heisman was a whole different far-fetched dream, not even thought about.
Do your kids now and 7 grandkids, do they even get it? Do they even understand how big of a deal that is? Or are you just grandpa or papa to them?
No, the grandkids have no idea. I mean, my oldest is 7, so he's kind of figuring out teams I played for in the NFL now. He's starting to yell "Fly Eagles Fly" when they're playing and those kind of things. But My daughters, they've all been back to New York, and they've been, to the announcements and met a lot of the guys. And so they kind of understand, I think, but that was for them, that was just kind of part of growing up a little bit. So they've been spoiled, and now looking forward to spoiling the grandkids a little bit.
Well, Ty, considering all the years since you won it, are you surprised of how big of a deal it was and still is?
Yeah, 100%. So, when I received the trophy at the big dinner that they had, Earl Campbell, he spoke. I think it was his anniversary at that time or whatever. He was one of the speakers, and he looked right at me and said, the Heisman will do more for you than you'll ever be able to do for it. And that's been the case, even though you play 14 years in the NFL and all those things, you're always introduced as a Heisman Trophy winner. So it's been a ton of fun to get to know a lot of those guys, and I still am in awe. I get made fun of because I still go and introduce myself to some of the guys, and they're like, "We know who you are. You don't have to introduce yourself. You won the Heisman. You're just like us." And I'm like, "Well, you guys are my heroes. I just want to make sure you know who I am. That kind of thing."
Well, how cool of a full circle there, because you watch Earl Campbell, the Heisman Trophy winner, playing, and then Earl Campbell is speaking at the banquet where you're receiving your trophy.
Exactly. It was pretty neat. And then, Roger Staubach walks in, and Tony Dorsett. And, like I said, those were my guys. And, you see them. And then they had the All-Star game for the NBA in Salt Lake the one year. And I see Roger Staubach on the street corner, and I'm like, "Mr. Staubach, hey, just wanted to introduce myself again." He's like, "Hey, Ty, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, man, Roger Staubach knows who I am. Like, this is the coolest thing." So,
of course he does.
It's been fun.
Former BYU quarterback and 1990 Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer is on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Mountain America Credit Union, and by Eddie. The trophy obviously has been, you talk about the relationships and all of that kind of stuff outside of BYU, which are amazing, right? But how meaningful was it to see how winning that trophy meant so much to so many people connected to BYU? And it still does, by the way.
Yeah, I think, it was long overdue with some of the great players that had been through before me. And I've always said those guys laid the groundwork. They finished second, they finished third, they finished fourth, guys that probably should have won it and didn't. And, I just felt like they kind of laid the groundwork. And then I really felt like it was special for LaVell to finally have somebody win that award. Everybody else had won everything else. So, I think he was as excited as anybody when they announced it. And, you see him raising his arms and, big hug and all those things. So it's always been special to be, the first one from BYU. But again, all the former players that gave BYU credibility and laid the groundwork and went on to do great things in the NFL really, gave credibility to me and to what we were doing at that time.
Ty, where is that trophy right now?
I've got it. We got a little office here off the main room, and we've got it on the shelf in there with some of the other awards and things, and kind of close it off if we need to, and and then open it up when people want to see it. So, well,
it's good that you've got it close by. Remember, I think it was a Holiday Bowl trophy MVP we were talking about, and you said it was downstairs somewhere on a box because you weren't really excited about that one. I'm glad the Heisman's up.
Yes.
No, the Heisman kind of fits in there pretty good. That Holiday Bowl trophy was a big chunk of metal and wood, and it's hard to find a place to put it. So it's tucked back in there too somewhere, but behind the doors on top of the gun safe, or about the only place we had for it.
We're so glad to have Ty with us tonight on Wise Guys, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. So you and Kim were married the following July after the Heisman Trophy win there. Did you sense that your street cred went up big time with the Herberts, after you won the Heisman, that you could probably close the deal now?
Oh yeah, I actually they're like, "Who do you want to bring out for the dinner and the banquet and everything?" So I actually got her out there too. So that kind of sealed the deal. I think.
I'm sure that did.
Well played. Well
She's
played.
over here shaking her head like, yeah.
Is Kim right there with you? You need to make Kim make an appearance. Have her stick her face in there.
You see what I look like. I mean, I had to have something else available to seal the deal. So no, it was fun all the way through that, and we actually started dating and knew it was going to be serious in October, and so it just kind of built. She was there for all of that stuff as the season went on.
Did she think it was a big deal, or did she think that you just knew you thought it was a big deal?
No, I think she knew. Her dad was a sports fan. I mean, she was there in the middle of it at school too, and I think everybody surrounding BYU kind of knew what was happening at that point. So,
well, it's an amazing story, and this is a great anniversary. And when we were looking at the calendar of 35 years, we thought there's only one guy we can have on this show, and then all this other stuff happened today.
Yeah, this is a crazy couple of days.
So let me ask you this: if Penn State truly offers Kalani their head coaching job, does he take it? Why or why not?
Well, there's probably about 10 million reasons why you might.
Or 11. Or
11, whatever that number is. I mean, you hear different things. It's always a tough decision. I think you look at Lane Kiffin and kind of his trying to make a decision whether to leave Ole Miss, go to LSU. Great situation, but LSU probably has a few more resources at its disposal. And so, with Kalani, if the talks are true and things, you obviously have to listen to it and see, and then you got to put your family first. I feel like he's a great fit for BYU. I mean, with the church and everything involved, does that translate at a Penn State or another type of university with his, camaraderie with the players and things like that? I think that goes with you anywhere. So you definitely have to entertain it and talk about it and look at it and see what's best for your family in the long run and how that translates to helping other people. He's touched this group of people here and now, maybe having a different platform in a different part of the country is part of the plan here for him, here on earth. So you never know where things are going to take you and what's going to happen. But I think you definitely have to entertain it. It's a compliment that other schools, want you or are talking to you. So, it's always a hard situation to make a move or to go somewhere else, and I'm sure it's weighing on him big time having to go through this.
Ty, we talked a little bit about this at the start of our broadcast tonight. The timing of the way the NCAA works. You were talking about Lane Kiffin, so he's got a top 10 team that has a chance to maybe win a national championship, but this is the timing. When coaches change, this is the portal opens at weird times. National Signing Days in 2 weeks. Is there a way to fix that? Because it sure seems broken to me.
Yeah, why are we in a rush for kids to sign in December? I never understood why they moved that up, other than games are still being played, championships, the playoffs, and everything are still going on. Why are we rushing into all of these things? Why do kids have to make that decision and sign? Why can't it stay in February? And then why can't schools wait until January 10th, to be able to hire coaches? There's some things that have to change in college football, and that probably is number one, is because there's always going to be side deals and people talking and things like that. But, man, to have to make a decision to let your coach go and you're still trying to win a championship for your university as an AD and not having be a part of it, nobody likes that, and nobody wants that. But at the same time, you don't want a coach in there poaching your players and recruiting for someone else while he's on the job, and you're a lame duck coach now and you lose control of the team. So there's a lot of things that need to change that way as far as the coaching carousel and all those things. I think just push everything back to February again. The coaching part of it can change after the national championship game, and then coaches can leave. But there's always going to be rumors, and coaches are going to be kind of having side deals already worked out before that date. So it's just the nature of the business. But I don't see why the NCAA can't put a moratorium on some of those things.
Here's a different timing question. All this stuff going on right now, the Big 12 championship game is on Saturday. I don't think anyone in the world believed BYU would be in it last summer, especially when Jake Retzlaff left school. But here they are, and so you got a few days of practice. You got all this stuff going on. Social media is suicidal, and one way or the other. And you're trying to play the fourth ranked team in the country this week. How hard is that going to be to hold that thing together?
Well, sometimes, football takes you away from all those other things, and you just get on the field and you just play ball. And then, obviously it weighs on players, like what's their future hold, so, it's just, it's a tough situation for everybody because you want to put everything you have into it, but then there's also going to be some question marks what's the future look like. And so best thing to do is get out and practice, tune it all out, and stay together as a team, stay tight, and just enjoy another opportunity with your boys. And if the players can do that, everything will take care of itself.
You have a great experience that most don't have, and that's the fact that you had to play quarterback at BYU as a freshman. You were a redshirt freshman, right?
Right.
But had to go out there and run the team and earn respect and do all of that, having not played before. What's your thought on Bear Bachmeier as a true freshman that didn't even play spring ball, running this team and leading to a Big 12 championship game?
He's been amazing, you look at him and you're like, man, that kid was playing high school football last year. He's been hard to handle for a lot of people. So, he's done a great job of just going in. The thing I love about him is he scores a touchdown. They celebrate a little bit, and then he's right on the bench, focused for the next series. And, he's done it the right way. He's not showboating and pounding his chest, look at me, and all those things. He's playing the game, and the boys have really gravitated towards that. And he's a team guy. It's like whatever it takes to win, I'm going to try to do. And so really impressed with his poise and maturity as a true freshman.
We were talking to Max the other day, who won the most games at BYU, right? 32. And he reminds us of that, and we remind everybody else.
Yes, he won the most.
Max likes that.
I've heard it a few times.
By contract with him, we have to announce that every time I say his name.
Comes on. But here's Bear as a freshman. He's already won 11 games his first year with a chance at a couple more before it's over. If you project Bear over the next 3 or 4 years, it feels like the sky's the limit.
It is, especially with NIL now. There's no sense of urgency to jump to the NFL if you're making some decent money playing college football, which he probably will as he goes forward. So, he's on track to be that guy. And, you never know what happens as the future goes. And if, somebody throws him a crazy offer, is he going to, jump at it? So the landscape's changed just because of the NIL stuff, and quarterbacks are leaving and going other places where they feel like, I got to go make a little more money. If you don't feel like you're a real NFL prospect, you take what you can get in college and you make the most of it. So we'll see, but it sounds like he's pretty grounded in there. And if Kalani does leave, maybe that changes things depending on who goes with him. So you never know what the future holds nowadays in college football.
You won the Heisman Trophy as a junior, right? So what would your NIL value have been coming back your senior year in today's dollars? Have you ever even thought about that? I talked to Jimmer about this, and he's like, I can't even think about it. It's disgusting. But
I did. I've thought about it. I'm like, but at that time, the only real big company in Utah was New Skin. So I probably would have had some lotion and some products, that would have come through. I've told somebody, I was like, man, I would have hoped I would have been loyal to LaVell, just because I love that guy. But at the same time, I knew I wasn't going to be a high pick. I didn't know if I'd play a year in the NFL. And so if somebody would have come and said, hey, we're going to pay you $3 million, and BYU could only come in with $500,000 at that time, it's like, man, how would you not? And at that point, knowing LaVell and the type of person he was, he probably would have said, you know what, you need to go do this and set yourself up here for a little bit. Yeah. And he, just that's the way LaVell was. He would have been disappointed you left, but he probably would have been advising you probably need to go if the discrepancy was that different. Now, if it was close or, the numbers were fairly close, I would have never left BYU. It was the perfect place for me at that time. And I don't know if I would have been as successful in a different type of system either. So, choices were probably a little more limited back then for my skill set as far as throwing the ball, and not many people were doing it. So, I'm glad I didn't have to go down that road.
No, it's fun. When you say that, I think about coach, and I'm thinking, not only would he have told you probably needed to go take it, then he would have been your biggest fan. He would have kept track of you, and you still would have always been his boy. Isn't that how he was?
He would have called me about once a month and just checked in, made sure things were going good. So he was such a good man that he rooted for you individually. You know. So,
Ty, what do you think LaVell would say to Kalani? Like if they could have a conversation.
Well, LaVell had opportunities, I heard, to go to the Jets and different things where he would have made a lot more money. So I know what LaVell would have said. Be careful what you ask for. So I have no doubt LaVell would be advising him to, be careful. If you don't go beat a couple top 10 teams here, you're going to be the next guy out in 2-3 years here. So LaVell's like, he loved the security of being where he was. Things are on cruise control. You got the program where you want it, but that was LaVell's personality. He didn't need the flash. He didn't need all the other stuff, and he loved where he was at, and he loved what he was doing and who he was doing it with.
Here's the crazy thing: back in those days, coaches didn't have buyouts in their contract. People say, "Oh, so what? You go to Penn State and you get a 6-year deal." For $60 million, they could fire you in 2 years. They fired James Franklin, halfway into the season. I'm like, yeah. And he had a $47 million buyout that he's not going to get all of because now he's gone and he's taking the job at Virginia Tech for like $8 million a year. But these coaches have buyouts now that if they fire them, they don't get all of it, but they get a huge lump sum. I'm like, you know what? Give me that job. I will get fired immediately. And then I will retire. No. I'm just going to go help Ty coach down in Arizona. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I mean, that gets you set up for life, a contract like that. And if you don't really enjoy coaching, you don't ever have to do it again. But a lot of these guys just love coaching and they love being a part of it and they don't know anything else. So they jump back in somewhere else again. So, but now they're set up for life, and their kids are, and their grandkids are, and it's generational,
Yeah. Couple more questions with our friend and Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer. 35 years ago tonight, picked up the award as the best college football player in America, the first and only to get that award at BYU. Ty, are you surprised to see BYU in the Big 12 championship game just 3 years into membership in the Big 12?
I'm not surprised. I think a little more surprised with the dominance they've had with it. They haven't had a lot of real close games where they've kind of won by margins. Defense is playing well, offense is playing well, special teams. So they're kind of clicking on all cylinders. Obviously, they stubbed their toe the first time they played Tech, but I'm sure they've learned from that. Watching that film, it'll be a different contest, and the magnitude of the game means a little bit more, chance to trip to the playoffs and things like that. So I think more surprised by that. But, they've done a great job of recruiting and getting guys in there that are playing and doing a great job. So, I think with where the Big 12 is at this point, they're definitely a top team in there and look like they can be year in and year out.
Do you think BYU has to win Saturday in that game against Texas Tech to get into the playoff?
Probably. I think, just to give that credibility again with the committee, you lose that one again by, a couple touchdowns and it's going to, be like, here we go. They can't beat a top 10 team, that kind of thing. So, but, I think with Utah winning and having a lot of success after that game, it's shown that they're a solid team and they can compete with anybody on a weekly opportunity. So do I think they need to win to get in? Probably not. But I think the voters are probably going to look at strength of schedule and some of those things. And if you're not the top team in the Big 12, may be hard to get in this year.
Texas Tech leads the league in scoring defense, total offense, total defense. They're one on both of those. BYU's 2 and 3, so they're right there. Cougars didn't run on them very well in Lubbock. LJ was coming off that injury. He's a different guy now the last 3 games. What are the keys for BYU to win on Saturday?
Yeah, it's kind of the same every week, run the ball. That's their MO right now. When they're able to do that, it opens up the play action, some of the deeper shots, those kind of things. So, they've ran the ball well against most everybody. And that takes pressure off a young quarterback. He runs the ball extremely well, too. So that helps, with running back going one way and him going another, it gives you some options. And then, enough of the passing game to keep people honest. So they're playing really well and clicking on all cylinders going into this. So, like I said, I feel like, they got to run the ball, continue to play good defense, and then have a few things go their way.
And not turn it over 3 times inside your own 20-yard line always helps too, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty big key there.
That's a pretty big one.
Have a few things
that
go
they
their
failed
way.
to recognize the last
prediction
time down
there.
Yeah.
All right, Ty. Here's 5 questions. We're doing a little differently tonight. 5 questions presented by Strategy Square. Let Chantel help your business grow online. Find out at strategysquare.co. Tonight, Ty, our researchers went back in time to December 1990 for 5 things that were going on when you won the Heisman Trophy. So we'll roll them out, and then you just kind of react to them.
Yeah,
all right?
Okay.
So
you got to remember, I was living in Provo in a little bubble there, so
yep.
may not be real aware of what was going on at that time.
These are. And we don't expect you to get these anyhow, but so let's talk about the economy back in those days. Gas today is $3.19 a gallon, and a dozen eggs right now is $2.49 a gallon. Any guess at what gas was back in 1990?
I remember growing up in the 70s, it was like 55 cents a gallon. So I'm going to go with like 95 cents a gallon.
Pretty good. It was $1.16 a gallon when you won the Heisman.
Okay.
You know what? I would have. I filled my car up the other day. I would have loved if we were in your Heisman year.
Yeah, I would love it too. Lifestyle. So, U.S. population is 342 million today, and the median household income is 83,730 today. So, 83,000 is what the average household income is. What do you think the average household income was back then?
Probably 42.
Wow, I wish 42 because it was just under 30,000.
Oh man. Okay.
Think about that. But houses were so much cheaper we could afford it when we made $28,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
let's
crazy.
do. Here's music and movies. So Mariah Carey won the Best New Artist, and Home Alone was the top grossing movie. That was a big year.
That was a big year.
That was.
And then the number 1 television show. Maybe you would guess this one.
Friends.
Friends was just a little bit after that. I think it was Cheers. Do you remember Cheers?
Oh yeah, Norm.
Yeah, Norm. Norm from
Cheers.
Cheers. That was number 1. And then the national champions in football that year was Colorado, where your brother ended up going.
That's right.
And UNLV won the national basketball championship that year.
The amoeba defense they had back then.
That's right. That's all of this was during the year Ty Detmer won the Heisman Trophy. That's 35 years ago tonight. That's crazy.
And no cell phones.
Yeah. No cell phones. How do we even live? Can you imagine how many times Cougar Nation checked their cell phone Twitter feed today
just
alone?
during this show.
Just during this show. To find out what's going on. We're in a different place, but through all the ups and downs and the changes that have gone over the last 35 years, you remain a Heisman Trophy winner and first class, and we appreciate our friendship with you. Please give our best to Kim and have a great holiday season, and let's see if we can get a win on Saturday.
Yeah, you guys as well. Hope everything's good.
Yeah, give the girls a hug for me. Haven't seen them for a bit, so tell them hey from Blaine.
I will.
So,
yeah, tell the family hello. Appreciate you guys always. So,
we'll do it. Thanks
for having me
Ty.
on.
All right.
All right.
Ty Detmer, Heisman night, 35 years ago tonight.
Wow.
That's so cool. And what I love is that he'll give us some time and hang out with us.
And you know what's so fun, so cool about Ty is, like, what he's telling you is one of the things I love about Ty, and that is, he was this way when we were covering him when he was an athlete. He was this way when he's 10 years in the NFL. The fact that he's introducing himself to Roger Staubach, and Roger's like, Ty, I know who you are. You won the Heisman Trophy, right? And he thinks he has to introduce himself to Earl Campbell. They all know who Ty Detmer is. And what a phenomenal NFL career he had. Who plays in the league that long these days?
It's amazing. It's amazing. You know what? Let's bring on our next guest. DJ, we'll wait on that. Our next guest is the chapter chair of the Dallas-Fort Worth BYU alumni chapter down there, getting ready to welcome Cougar fans with a tailgate party for the ages ahead of the Big 12 championship game. Tagert Baron's back on the Wise Guys. Hey, how are you tonight?
Well, it's great to be with you guys. Thanks for having me. And this is an exciting time, one of the biggest football games in BYU history. And we get to be a part of it down here in the Dallas area. So we're excited.
Not only that, you get to follow Ty Detmer on the show. How about that?
I mean, come on. I mean, Jesus, this is great.
Yeah. Just a Heisman Trophy winner is all. So, hey, BYU's coming back down to Texas. This is the second time in a month. How excited are Cougar fans in the Metroplex to have them back in this Big 12 championship?
Well, we feel like Texas is an extension of Provo. We even sell shirts. You guys even have some. Go BYU Texas.
I should have wore it tonight. I didn't even think about that. I should have wore it tonight. I do wear it, by the way, all the time.
It's like 30 degrees up here, so yeah I put a sweatshirt on.
We'll take you a break. No, but we're really excited. I mean, we had SMU last year. That was a great game. We went up to Lubbock a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, didn't get that one, but we're hoping for redemption this Saturday.
Hey, what surprised you the most about this 11-1 team?
You know, I think the thing that surprised me the most is, if we go back and watch recordings of our conversations that you and I and everyone were having, it was, with a freshman quarterback, we don't even know what to expect. We're just hoping for 6, maybe 7 wins. And for them to just be in every game and pull it out, I think the thing that surprised me the most was just the poise under pressure. A double overtime win at Arizona, some close games, and usually an inexperienced team with a young quarterback falter in those kind of high pressure situations. For them to have the poise to stick through it was just an amazing job by the seniors on the team, the coaching, and we were just really impressed.
Tell us about the tailgate plans for BYU fans down there this weekend.
All right, so this is going to be an epic tailgate. So we really had trouble planning this one because usually we've got months in advance. We got the schedule, we know 6 months in advance. So we're preparing, we're planning, we're making reservations, food. How do we do this when we only have really a week notice? We didn't really even know we were for sure going to be in this game until last Friday. And so, signing contracts on venues and food. And how do we do that? Plus the game, it's an 11 a.m. kickoff in December. What are we, nobody wants to be standing around a cold parking lot at 8 o'clock in the morning eating breakfast burritos. So do we do it Saturday morning? Do we do it Friday night? If it's going to be Friday night, it's going to be cold, it's dark, the weather, who knows? We need to find somewhere indoors, where somewhere big enough. So we came up with the best solution. We are doing the tailgate in Globe Life Field, where the Texas Rangers play. It's a covered stadium, and literally our tailgate is on the playing field for the Texas Rangers.
That's like the biggest thing ever.
That's right across the street from AT&T.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
it's
right there.
Across the street. So it's right across the street, and we didn't even have to bring in tables and chairs for people to sit and eat their food because we got the whole stands. They can just go sit up. They can sit on any row in any section they want, and they've got chairs ready to go.
Now, how did you do that? How did you get access to the baseball stadium?
A lot of people came through. A lot of organizations with athletics and the alumni association. We had some generous donors that kicked in, and it's not cheap. Let me just tell you this.
I bet not.
But I'll tell you what is cheap. It's going to be free. A lot of times at these tailgates, we'll sell tickets for like $10 or $20 to get in to raise money for like the local BYU chapter, their scholarship fund or whatever. We said, you know what? Forget that. Forget it. We're making this thing free, and we got donors to cover all of the costs. So it's free. We're going to have Cosmo. We'll have cheerleaders, Cougar tails, chocolate milk, We'll have everything going on. And guess what? For the food, all right, normally we have to call in, we have to get like a restaurant to come and cater it, or we bring some food trucks to sit around a park and people can buy their food. No, you know what we're doing? We're just going to go to the Globe Life Field, and they're going to open their concessions, and you can buy hamburgers and hot dogs and nachos as if you were at the baseball game.
It's like a Christmas miracle. That's what this is. I think that's fantastic. So all BYU fans coming to the game or want to be around the game can go to Globe Life Field before the game and congregate together.
And it's Friday night.
And it's Friday night.
It's not the game Saturday morning. This thing is Friday night.
And what time?
So 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And so that should give people time to get there, maybe avoid traffic. We're going to be there early setting up. And 6 p.m. Doors open to the public at 6 p.m.
That's a great idea.
Any idea on how many people are going to show up for this tailgate?
Okay, so we don't really know, but we have a website where people can register just to kind of like give us an idea. But we know that there's going to be a lot of people that show up that don't register. So, I mean, we have 6,200 alumni just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area alone, plus all of their families. Then if you double that, if you expand out to Houston and the rest of Texas and up into Oklahoma and Arkansas, anything that's a 4 or 5 hour radius, we could have 10, 20,000. We really have no idea how many people to expect. So we're just bringing a lot of stuff, and we'll go until we run out of food.
Promise us that you'll send pictures out and videos of this thing on Friday night, which I think is a phenomenal idea. And off the charts, because you get to a game Friday night, there's nothing going on, and the game, as you mentioned, so early on Saturday. I think that's a phenomenal
great idea. Yeah,
nice job. There's always a service project tied into BYU tailgates and the Cougars coming to town. What's that look like?
All right, so this is also going to be epic. So this is the first time that BYU's ever been in the conference championship game of a Power 4 conference. So we're going for a Power 4 service project. So it's going to be 4 things. 1, Arlington Charities. It's a local food bank right here in Arlington that they're really kind of struggling, especially this time of year when there's a lot of needy families, and they're gathering canned foods, especially protein. So like tuna fish, chicken, peanut butter, that kind of stuff. And people can bring physical food. We also have a website with an Amazon wish list and a Walmart wish list where people can click and they can donate. And they don't even have to haul their food here, or if they're not making it to the game in person, they can do that. So that's number 1. Number 2, we actually have a giving machine that's going to be at the tailgate, on the field, and one right outside the door. And it's 5 local DFW charities. So like, have you ever bought like for a family that's going through some trauma, buy a board game for them, or some essential like a baby bag with diapers and formula or something? Or we have some people that we have Evergreen Life Services that support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, buying dental care or a home repair for a group home for them. There's a local food garden that grows fresh vegetables and honey for food pantries, and we're getting seeds, we're getting water, tractor repair, and then 2 more, the Hope Restored Missions that does services for the homeless. So they'll do like birth certificates so that homeless people can get an ID so that they can get a job, helping them with that kind of documentation and housing. And then the last one is called CASA. It's guardian care for foster children that have been removed from an abusive situation, and just getting some clothes or some school supplies just to get by the next few months and nurture them while they're going. Now, here's the best thing about all of this. You're standing there at the giving machine, and if you can't decide what to give and you're feeling generous, donate 777 on the code, 7 points for offense, defense, and special teams, and it will just do one of everything in the machine.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. It's well thought out, multifaceted attack on charity, not an attack. It's a multifaceted plan to take care of multiple charities in this market. And BYU always leaves a place better than they found it when they come into a market, which I think is just awesome.
We put the links in the
If you
chat.
have time, I'll throw in two more things.
do it.
That was two prongs of the Power Four.
Yeah, give us two more.
The third one is we're donating. We have a food truck coming in with 36,000 pounds of food that'll be split between Wiley Christian Care Food Bank and a Five Loaves Food Bank. And then the fourth one is we're having a truck that's delivering 4,300 gallons of BYU Creamery milk to Catholic Cherries in Dallas and Tarrant Area Food Bank West. So that's our Power 4 service project.
That's not, wow.
Hey, they're going to want us in that Big 12 championship game every year.
Yeah, the community is so.
Okay.
I actually went to the Big 12 championship game last year because early on in the season, I thought BYU has a chance. Before ticket prices go up, I'm going to buy tickets. And I bought tickets, and there weren't that many fans there. I went, and I couldn't even sell the tickets. There weren't enough Iowa State and Arizona State fans making their way to Arlington. This time around, if you look at the seating chart on SeatGeek, I mean, the prices are getting high. The stadium is filling up. I'll bet there's going to be 4 times as many fans there at the game.
Your Mark today was saying he thinks it will be a sellout.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing.
Texas
the last time it was
theirs.
barely the lower bowl. Like hardly anybody was in the mid bowl and nobody was in the upper bowl. So they had 3 levels, and it was fun to watch. I went to the game to watch, but I was kind of sad that there weren't more people there. And honestly, a lot of the vendors around the stadium were sad that there weren't more people there too.
I'm sure.
Hey, Tagert, what part of the Metroplex do you live in down there? That's a huge area down there.
It's a huge area. I live out in the Heath, Rockwall area, so I'm way on the east side of town.
Yeah.
And so I'm about, like, if I just drive straight all the way to Fort Worth, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive. So that's it's kind of like driving from Bountiful to Provo.
There you go.
We put the link to where folks can go who aren't going to the game, but can contribute in the service project and help order some of the things that are needed. And that's also in our show notes for those listening on the podcast. It is everything's bigger in Texas, and you guys have taken this up a notch, actually 4 notches in your 4-pronged approach to championship weekend. Let's get Tagert. Let's get your 3 keys to a BYU win.
All right. So this time around, they cannot get down by more than 1 score. So they got to keep within 7 points the whole game. Texas Tech is too good. If they get ahead by 2 touchdowns, they can clamp down the defense, and they're going to be a really hard team to come back on. So that's my first one is don't get behind by more than 1 score. The second one is they just got to cut down on the turnovers. Giving away. There were just a couple of turnovers deep in BYU territory. The punt return and the net lateral pass. No easy points for Texas Tech by giving up the ball in BYU territory. And then the third one is just play BYU football. I think they got a little bit rattled by the early turnovers, and they tried to do things that they weren't used to. But BYU has proven all season long that they are a tough team. They can play physical, and they can play with confidence. And they just need to play BYU football and don't let any sort of hype get in their heads.
Those are some good keys.
I love it. Yeah, those all sound great to me.
Yeah, nice
Just
job.
do that, BYU, and everything's going to be fine. So
Tagert Baron, the chapter chair of the Dallas-Fort Worth area with BYU alumni. The team's up here getting ready. You're down there getting ready. It will be a magical weekend, especially starting Friday night at Globe Life Field for all BYU fans to come into the tailgate party for free to get in, and then you can buy whatever you want at the concession stands. Who doesn't want a baseball hot dog?
That's pretty cool.
In December? You can't get that anywhere.
Right?
That's a great idea.
Another thing, too, is some people think, I have to be going to the game on Saturday in order to come to the tailgate on Friday. And that's not the case. If you're in the Dallas area and you just want to come celebrate BYU, come to the tailgate and hang out and then go home Saturday and watch it on TV.
Love it. So Mark Johnson on the chat says, Tagert, you and your committee have knocked it out of the park, ! And I agree.
Hey,
out of the park. Yeah, we'll be in the baseball park.
That's right.
Knock that out. And have an awesome time down there. It's never happened before. BYU's never been in the Big 12 championship, and they've come right to the alumni chapter that can handle it and do it in grand style. Good luck with all that you got going on. We love to support you. We appreciate how you represent the Y out in the Texas area. So have some fun, and we'll see you again on the show here real soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you Saturday.
All right, Tagert Baron. Okay, so now we've been to Texas, and you kind of feel the excitement.
Yeah, like this is awesome. They're geeked up and ready to go.
So
is that the right word? Geeked up?
So here's how BYU does it. It's early game, so you're not about the tailgate. There's a Major League Baseball stadium that's got a roof on it across the street, and so some donors just come up and pay for it, and we just rent that place out.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
I think it's great. And I love that he's just saying, hey, if you don't have tickets to the game, don't worry about it. Come to the tailgate. Let's just celebrate as a BYU family down here. That's pretty cool.
Just be a part of all that. So good. All right. Awesome. So as we got closer to the championship game, Tagert reached out and said, hey, can I come on Wise Guys on Monday? We got a lot to talk about.
He did.
And did he not deliver on that?
They came up big time in a very short period of time. Way to go.
All right, before we get to our Relight Athlete of the Week, let's tackle some more football now that we're all kind of fired up for this game.
We'll go back to that, right?
And by the way, nothing new has happened on the Sitake watch. We're monitoring our phones.
Yeah.
And we'll see kind of where that goes over the next little bit. But it's kind of an exciting week. And,
I mean,
tonight's intriguing.
There's some wheels spinning and some things like it's not just sitting still. BYU's making some big-time efforts right now.
They're not going down without a fight.
No, but there's some things that are on the chat that did not happen that are saying that happened that have not happened. But we want to address that directly.
So, hey, information flows freely.
It's just interesting to me. It's like
it's just
you know how many times I've seen things on Twitter like this and this and this happened, and I'm just going, that did not happen.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's been my whole day today. So
it's funny how we react to stuff, and we're monitoring our phones, and we got people working on stuff. So this Big 12, 10 teams are eligible for the bowls. That's how big this league has been this year. So 10 teams are bowl eligible. BYU beat UCF 41-21. We'll talk about that in a moment. Texas Tech beat West Virginia 49-0.
Wow.
The big game really was Friday night.
Right.
Arizona beat Arizona State, which put BYU and Texas Tech in the championship
no matter what
game
happened in their
before
games.
Saturday even happened. And then Utah beat Kansas. TCU beat Cincinnati. Bearcats were rolling. Then they lost 5 straight. Or 4 straight, rather.
Fell off. And then Houston got Baylor. Houston was a surprisingly good season this year. They were one of the surprise teams in the league. Kansas State beat Colorado 24-14. Colorado, a lot of injuries, fell off. Saw Deion promising everybody that this is an aberration and next year they're going to be back.
I hope so. I hope Deion's back.
The league's better when Deion's healthy and Colorado's good. It's better. Iowa State beat Oklahoma State 2013. Not a surprise. You know what we did learn also is that when the season's all done, BYU might have played the most difficult schedule in the Big 12 this year. We didn't think it would be at the beginning of the year, but the number of teams that they beat with 9 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins, not only one of the toughest schedules in the Big 12, one of the toughest in the country. Strength of results for BYU has them in the top 10. So it was a tougher season than people thought, and yet BYU very handily went out and won 11 games against a bunch of teams that are bowl eligible.
That win at Arizona should be getting a lot more credit.
Yeah, it's a top 25 football team.
So Saturday at the stadium, it was a little chilly. The sun came out. When it was out, the fans that were in the sun thought it was awesome. And then it got a little cooler as the clouds came in. But we managed to dodge every weather element this season so far. Anyway.
We talked about that after a post-game show because we didn't want to jinx it, but we didn't have a 100-degree game like we had against, was it SC that you and I stood down there and just roasted on the field? We didn't have a blizzard or one of those types of nights.
Didn't have driving rain.
It was a beautiful day.
No wind.
Yeah, it was a very fortunate weather year for BYU.
So here's what we liked in that game, and see if you agree with us. We liked that BYU outscored UCF 41-7 after trailing 14-0. Bear Bachmeier was 21-25, no picks, 289 yards, a touchdown.
Loved it.
And today he was named the Big 12 Freshman of the Week for the 7th time.
7th time. Yeah, that's
the Bear Bachmeier Award.
Do you think he's going to be the Big 12 Freshman of the Year?
I think he's.
If you win it 7 out of 12 weeks,
it feels like you've already won it, right?
Yeah,
He's won it. Parker Kingston, 6 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown and a 55-yard electrifying punt return. Today he was named the Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week. He needed to play big because Chase was out resting his hamstring.
Has Parker Kingston made himself a candidate for all Big 12 first team?
It feels like it.
Yeah, it feels like he's right there.
Yeah.
And
when you're number one or tied for number one, you're going to get a bunch of guys in there.
Yeah. Yep. So
LJ Martin certainly.
Yeah, LJ Martin leads the league in rushing. He's first team all Big 12 for sure. 22 rushes for 95 yards in this one, 3 TDs. Career high in touchdowns, by the way, for LJ.
We like that.
Yeah.
We like those 3 touchdowns. And it was senior day, and the senior walk was cool. We showed it on the post-game show, watching those guys walk 100 yards, arm in arm. LJ was in that group, but that doesn't mean he's not coming back next year. He said that coaches encouraged him to go do it just in case.
Yeah.
If LJ has a big Saturday and then a big postseason and you're the top running back in the Big 12.
He's the number 2 in early second round draft pick. Then he goes.
You might be able to get a job.
Yeah, then he goes.
Yeah, and if not, LJ and Bear next year, 1-2 punch would take that.
Yeah, we'll take that too. Remember, Chase walked last year and he was back this year.
Yeah, there were a few
couple guys
that
did. So things we didn't like though. How about falling down 14-0? Like
we did not like that.
I didn't like anything about. I didn't even like the crowd. Like I looked over at you and I went, Dave. Not only is the team like not playing, the crowd's doing nothing. Like the crowd was just dead, almost like listless. Like, at some point they'll get things going. It's early. I just had pancakes. I don't have any energy, and the team played like that. And it's almost like the whole funk of, okay, we're already in the Big 12 championship game, and that was a big deal the night before. And it was like they just came out and kind of played flat. And that hasn't been the case. They didn't play flat to start the game against Texas Tech. They just didn't execute. But this is the first time all season I thought they were flat. But then it was almost like they just said to themselves, guys, we actually have a game here, so let's turn it on.
Yeah.
And then they turned it on at the end of the first quarter, and they just smoked Central Florida from that point forward. Like it wasn't even close from that point forward. So they need to turn that switch on before the start of the game this next Saturday.
Well, I think Tagert was talking about that too. You can't fall behind to Texas Tech. No. They're too good at just snuffing you out.
Yeah.
Get the lead and make them go, oh, hey, we got to score to tie this game.
Right.
Will Farron missed a couple of field goals. We didn't like that either. He did kick a 50-yarder at the end, but, Will's had to work through some things, and he needs to be perfect on Saturday.
Yeah, here's what we need to be perfect. Everybody affiliated with the field goal process, because he's had a few misses this year that were on the snapper or the holder, so the snap's got to be perfect into the body or right over the mark. The holder's got to get it down on the mark. If the holder gets it down because the snap's bad or because he mishandles the ball, and it's 3 inches one way or the other away from where the kicker's aiming, you're going to miss the field goal. I mean, it's that precise. And they've been very good for a couple of years here, but we've had some issues with, what we call the operation. So every one of the missed field goals this year are not on Will. A couple of them are, and a couple of them aren't. He hasn't missed a bunch. So that group as a whole, they have to be perfect on Saturday. And we're talking about Grimes, the long snapper. We're talking about Vanderhaar, the holder. We're talking about Will Farron. All three need to be perfect.
Let's just expand it out to...
they got to protect it.
The punter.
Oh, yeah, Vanderhaar's punting too.
And the punt returner. Remember, all 3 areas, they weren't very good at Texas Tech.
Yeah, they've got to be all better. Special teams has to be better. So.
All right, so let's visit 3. Here's Blaine's 3 keys to victory against UCF.
Yeah.
Win the turnover margin.
+2. Check.
Run the ball. Don't let UCF run the ball. BYU ran for 118, and the Knights ran for 42.
42 gives them a double check.
Double check. We haven't given out many double checks.
We said, don't let UCF run the ball. They couldn't run it at all.
All right, here's the third one. Play with passion like you have something to play for. They had a slow start, and then they kicked it into gear.
They get a minus for the first quarter, and they get 2 pluses for the last 3 quarters.
Okay.
So.
All right, so there you go.
So basically, they did everything they needed to do to get a convincing win.
Now let's talk about this big championship game.
Yeah.
BYU Texas Tech Saturday in Arlington. BYU SN game day at 8 a.m. on BYU TV and ESPN Plus. That's Mountain Time. The football game's at 10 a.m. on ABC. Post-game shows on the BYU TV app and ESPN Plus. Series is 2-1 for the Red Raiders. Both wins over there in Lubbock. BYU beat them during their first year in the Big 12 a couple of years ago. Not sure what the unis are going to be just yet. They haven't posted those. So we'll keep tabs on that. But Texas Tech is favored by just under 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, which is a surprise. I think that's a big number. But they look at what happened the last time. And so maybe that's not such a big number. But you and I know because we watched the film. We've broken it down multiple times between then and now, and we recognize BYU's got a few adjustments to make, and they can be right in the game with Texas Tech and have a chance to win it. They got to take care of the football. So
the weather is a dome stadium.
It's inside. So
it's going to be air conditioning. Shouldn't be any sun blinding. Although
perfect.
Depends on. I thought when the Chiefs were playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, it looked like the
coming
sun
through
was
that end window and
coming
weird.
through there.
Yeah.
So there might be a
But
little.
there's
of
going to be no wind. I can promise you that.
Air conditioning is all, and then there's that big TV screen that's like 80 yards.
Yeah, it's huge.
Long, and anyway, it's such an awesome place to play a football game. The last conference championship win for BYU was 2007. Max Hall was on game day with us on Saturday, and we were talking about that. He's the last quarterback to win a conference championship. And
remember, BYU was in independence for 10 years.
Yeah.
So.
But it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. And then the last conference championship game where they were in the WAC way back when, 1996, when they beat Wyoming in the WAC championship game down in Vegas.
Yeah. So that was interesting. That's the last time they won a championship game in that setting. Because remember, they went back and they got beat by Air Force.
Right.
And then they were.
That 96 team was special because that conference championship game launched them into the Cotton Bowl where they beat Kansas State and finished number 5 in the country.
That's right after they got snubbed.
That is always considered the second best season in BYU history.
Right after they got snubbed by the BCS.
Right.
They said, "Yeah, I know you're 13-1, but we're going to go with somebody else so you can go to the Cotton
So
Bowl."
BYU gets snubbed and they go play Miami in the Pop-Tarts Bowl and they just run them out of the stadium. Does BYU finish in the top 10? They probably would, huh?
Yeah.
So
yeah, the last time BYU won an AT&T Stadium there in Arlington, 2009, Oklahoma was number 3. Cougars were number 20. Max Hall threw a touchdown pass to McKay Jacobson with like a couple of minutes left, and then Oklahoma missed a 50-yard field goal, and so the Cougs have won in the stadium.
Do you know what I like about that too? In that stadium, against the team at the time that was considered the best team in the Big 12, Oklahoma, with a big-time quarterback in Sam Bradford, and BYU won. Now here we are, how many years later, against the team that's supposed to be the best team in the Big 12, with the best quarterback in the Big 12, except for his name's not Sam Bradford. It's
Baron Morton.
Yeah. And BYU's going to come away. They were number 3. This team's number, what do you think, 4?
4, probably 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So a chance to do it again. So Kalani was front and center today as the two head coaches and Commissioner Yormark got together on a Zoom news conference to kick off championship week. Here is what he said about the rematch with the Red Raiders. Let's listen to Kalani for just a minute.
I'm really impressed with their team, not just the way that they play the game. Obviously, we went out there and played in the game in Lubbock. Great atmosphere, great environment. Not too friendly for us, but it was a really cool experience. And we did not show up at our best. A lot of that had to do with Texas Tech. Texas Tech's a complete team with a great coach, great coaching staff, and all 3 phases they played amazing football. I think they're the best team in the country, And so when you look at it that way, we've got our work cut out for us. We're looking forward to the matchup. In fact, after the game, if you want to talk about manifesting, well, first I'll go back to our dinner. When Joey and I had dinner, we talked about this. Joey, you remember that we talked about playing each other in the championship game. We manifested it, and now here we are. It's amazing that I get to do it against a great person and a great friend. But then also, his team is a reflection of him and the sportsmanship and the class that they have. After the game, we're shaking hands. Half of the players were saying, "We'll see you guys in a few weeks." Like they basically respected us enough to know that we're going to get back at this game, and it was really cool that that interaction for our guys to go out and play 3 games and get ready to get back into this and have another shot at it. An amazing team, and so we're looking forward to being at our best because it's required of us when playing the best team in the nation, and that's Texas Tech. And so as we go through this, we're looking forward to the matchup, looking forward to the game altogether. I'm not much of a campaign guy for us during the season, but after the season and looking at it at everything. I do believe that what Commissioner Yormark and what Joey McGuire said, that we are a playoff contending team, and so looking forward to the matchup, and I'm looking forward to us both teams representing the Big 12 in this playoff and doing it the right way. But I do know we have some work to do and some improvement to get to, but seeing the film and Texas Tech making that happen, that's going to be key. And to end my comments, I just want to say that being in the Big 12 has been amazing for our fan base and for all of Cougar Nation, for our team. Being in all the different venues, we enjoyed the partnership in the Big 12, connecting with all the coaches, and seeing all the places that we play, different venues. It's been amazing. Thank you for being kind to us, and thank you for the leadership that we see from our commissioner. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to an amazing game this weekend.
All right, that's Kalani, some of his comments about the Red Raiders. I'm excited about this game. A little leery, a little nervous, but the way BYU's played their last 3 games, they're playing their best football.
Yeah, and they're the healthiest they've been probably since the Utah game right now. And so I think they're poised to play well. It's when you're playing a high-level game where both teams are really, really good, typically the team that makes the fewest mistakes wins. You take care of the ball. You don't have costly penalties that short-circuit drives. And I think the formula is, BYU wants to maintain the ball. They want to have the ball in their hands. They want to control the clock. But I do think they need to be aggressive to start the game to get Texas Tech's great defense to run from sideline to sideline. We'll talk about that in a sec here.
Yeah, we'll be watching that. So championship Saturday looks like this. In the Big 12, it's BYU and Texas Tech at 10 a.m. on ABC. In the SEC, it is Georgia and Alabama at 2 o'clock, so they follow BYU on ABC. Number 2, Indiana. Number 1, Ohio State. The Big Ten title game, Saturday night at 6 on Fox. And then the ACC is going to roll out Duke at 7 and 5 against Virginia at 6 o'clock on ABC. And the winner of that game is going to be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, that's the problem with the college football playoff right there.
Yeah, right there. The ACC could disappear, and nobody would know it this year. That's how crazy they've been. Now, Miami's pretty good, right? But Miami isn't in the championship game.
Championship game.
So how can you put them ahead of anybody in an argument? Especially,
it's almost like your league has a spot. So sorry, Miami. Even though you're maybe the 11th best team, a team that doesn't deserve to be anywhere close to here from your league is going to be in this thing. So I'm sorry that you can't let Miami bump another league's team that's qualified out when they have a team that's not qualified in. So that's the problem. And then in the G5, you got from the American Athletic Conference, North Texas is 11-1. They're playing against Tulane, who's 10-2. At Friday at 6 p.m. on ABC, Jake Retzlaff. What a season for Jake.
I'll be watching and I'll be cheering for Jake.
Yes, I will too.
They got a shot at making the college football playoff. Wouldn't it be ironic that both BYU and Jake get to the playoff, just in different teams? But I think that's awesome. He's had a great year. And but no one thought that BYU would go 11-2 with Jake last year. No one thought BYU would go 11-1 with Bear this year, and nobody thought Tulane would go 10-2 with Jake this year.
No, it's so fun.
Everybody's
That's why college football is fun, because I think I saw today that 12 teams that were in preseason top 25 are not ranked right now. That shows you how much everybody knows before the season starts. And BYU certainly was not ranked because the over-under for wins was 6 once Jake Retzlaff left.
Think about it. Jake and Bear have combined for 32 wins in the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
So that's going to be fun. The rematch, Texas Tech beat BYU 29-7 back on November 8th in Lubbock. Won the turnover battle 3-zip. Bear was 23 of 38, a pick, 188 yards, and a touchdown, 11 rushes for 12 yards. Now, that's a stat I'll be watching this weekend.
That's one of the keys, right?
LJ was 10 for 35.
3.5 yards a carry for LJ? That's a problem.
It was his first game back after the injury that knocked him out of the Iowa State game, and they had a bye, and then he had a 12-yard run with his first carry, and then they were kind of nursing him along. Really didn't know how much he'd be able to do. Well, the last 3 games, and I'll read this leading into your keys. PFF College on X tweeted out today, LJ's last 3 games. TCU, he had 25 touches, 122 yards and a touchdown. Cincinnati had 35 touches, 266 total yards and 2 touchdowns. UCF 27 touches, 130 total yards, and 3 touchdowns. Texas Tech 16 touches, 64 yards, no touchdowns. This is a new and improved LJ Martin coming into the rematch.
He came out of that game, got healthy, and got better. the best he has performed all season long is these last 3 games. Cincinnati obviously was the best game. But have we ever seen him run more physical, more downhill, more punishing? When we're getting ready to do our after further review shows, we got a great show coming up for you tomorrow. He's just punishing people out there. And so he's a different running back right now than he was against TCU the first time around. I'm telling you that right now. And the other thing that's going to be different is the offensive line for BYU. It's almost like they outthought themselves from a scheme perspective. They had 2 weeks to prepare. They changed some things schematically. They did. You heard Aaron Roderick say we got a little too cute, meaning we changed a few things up that we just needed to be basic and just go out and punish people like we have all year and be confident and let our guys play full speed because they know what they're doing. So I think we see a simpler game plan from BYU against Texas Tech this time on offense. And I think we see them get off the ball and move that line of scrimmage and LJ run downhill like he has and punish some fools out there like he has.
Here's Blaine's 3 keys to beating Texas Tech on Saturday. Vegas is listening.
Yeah.
So let's be clear and concise. How are the Cougs going to win this?
So we just mentioned this. In a game between 2 great teams, the team that makes the fewest mistakes. So turnover margin is the number 1 key, and it's not close. 2 and 3 are like way down here compared to 1. Turnover margin. You have to be even or plus in this thing to have a chance. If you're -2, you're going to lose. You're -3, you're going to lose big, right? So, yeah. But guess what? If Texas Tech is -3, they're going to lose big. So that's the number 1 key. Number 2 is stuff the Texas Tech run game. So you need to make this Texas Tech thing one-dimensional. So you gotta make Baron Morton carry this team on his back, and he's a very good quarterback. But when they're one-dimensional, they may move the football at times, but they're going to have trouble scoring. They'll settle for field goals. They'll turn the ball over. You get them behind the chains when they can't run. This is a very balanced football team. You make them one-dimensional, you got a chance to win this game.
Cameron Dickey had 23 carries for 121 yards and a touchdown in the first meeting. So you got to take him out.
Hold them to 50 yards or less.
Okay.
Keep them under 100, and then you're in good shape. Okay.
All right. Number 3.
Be aggressive on offense early. So, yes, you do want to possess the ball. You want to take your time getting in and out of the huddle. You want them to have fewer possessions, but you can do that using the throw game as an extension of your run game. So some quick throws, involve LJ in the pass game. Get him the ball out on the flat route. Do a little delay angle and dump the ball off. Really, really high percentage throws. Because I feel like when you're playing against a defense that's this good, they're number 1 in the country in rush defense. You got to make them chase. You got to make that front 7 run to the left sideline, and then the next play they run to the right sideline. And even though you only maybe get 3 yards on a hitch route over there and 4 on this one over here, they've run all the way to the sideline on this play. Then they ran all the way to the sideline on this play. Now on 3rd down, you're throwing the ball in the middle of the field. This is a team that's been running all over the place. You wear them down, and then the run game becomes more and more effective as the game goes on, as you make them run all over the place and chase you from sideline to sideline. That's the way to attack the number 1 rush defense in the country. So be aggressive on offense early. Make them run from sideline to sideline.
Those are the keys for BYU to win the Big 12 championship Saturday on ABC. The Relight Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at Redmond.com. This week, it's our pleasure to announce Richie Saunders as this week's honoree. And man, did he earn it, named the MVP of the Terry's Chocolate ESPN Events Invitational over the Thanksgiving holiday. What else did he do?
He did everything. No, he was so good. On Thursday, he scored 8 points, had 5 assists and 4 rebounds in the 82-72 victory over Miami. And then on Friday, when Dayton decided we're going to take AJ out of this thing, like we're going to pay attention to him, everybody's going to double to him early, Richie goes off for 29 points in that 83-79 victory over Dayton. 6 of 10 from three-point line, and he had 8 boards to go with that great scoring night. So on the season, Richie leads the team in minutes played, so he's averaging 32 minutes a game, and points scored. He's averaging 20.1 points a game.
It's interesting that when BYU needs something, and you've got maybe the number 1 pick in the NBA draft here next summer right here, and where does AJ go with the ball? He often goes to the senior leader who's been there and done that, and that's Richie Saunders. And that tandem is going to be awesome throughout the season. But AJ's so smart that he knows that I'm going to get the ball to a guy who's been there and done that, and that's what Richie's done.
You get the ball to guys you know that are going to finish the assist you just gave them, right? So,
yeah.
And here's what AJ, along with Rob Wright, are so good at getting wherever they want to on the floor. So they break a defense down. They get into the paint with 2 feet. And now everybody's rotating. People are coming off of Richie. They're coming from the outside to dig and help. And AJ's going, if they leave Richie, he's getting the ball. Because you know what he's going to do? He's going to knock it down.
He's going to score.
He's going to score.
6'5" senior from Riverton, Utah, named first team All Big 12 last season and preseason All Big 12 for this season. Legitimate NBA prospect. We've had scouts tell us that right to our face. The fastest catch and shoot routine in the country. Richie Saunders, number 9. His team ranked in the AP Top 25. They're back in action Wednesday night at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City against Cal Baptist. That's at 7 Mountain on ESPN+. We'll be on the call for that one. It is our privilege to announce Richie Saunders as the Relight Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. And I have a feeling this won't be Richie's last.
No, I think he'll be a regular as the Relight athlete.
A regular as the Relight. Hey, we've got some great news for the folks who take in this show on our podcast and throughout all the stuff we do. You can help support Wise Guys by signing up for our ad-free podcast. No commercials, no interruptions, just the full conversations of the way they were meant to be heard. Only $8 a month, $7 a month if you do the yearly plan. That's about $2 or less per episode. Let's be honest, that's worth getting the ads away from what you're trying to listen to.
Yes.
And with Christmas coming up, it's also the perfect gift for the Wise Guys fan in your life, and gifting's easy. Just select Give as a Gift, and it goes straight to their inbox.
So you can listen to ad-free on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, most other apps. When you subscribe, you'll get a special link that plugs you right into your favorite podcast player. So everything works just like it does now, only no ads.
Please support the show. Help us keep it rolling by subscribing. Go to wiseguys.supercast.com to subscribe or to gift it to someone you love or don't love. You know, you can gift. It's the season for giving.
That's right.
You can give to anybody. Wiseguys.supercast.com. There's also a link on our website homepage at wiseguys.com. So that's what we'd love for you to do. Help support the show. And we'd love for you to be able to listen to us without just an ad all of a sudden just showing up.
Yep.
But that's how you can do it. By the way, we've been auctioning off that football for Ephraim Hope.
Yeah.
That football now is signed by a team that is
11-1 and going to the Big 12 championship.
There it is, right there.
Did we not say that at the beginning of the year that this could be a very valuable football for one of the greatest teams in BYU history? Yeah. We just didn't know.
It just keeps growing. Bears signed. Everybody signed it, and that hat is also on the block, signed by Cialia Serra. So here's what we need you to do: go over to our website, wiseguys.com, click on the Contact Us tab, and then use the form there to send us in your bid, and we'll announce the winner before Christmas. The link is in the chat, also in the show notes. The last football we auctioned off put 10 kids through school for an entire year there in Uganda, and that's what we're involved with here for ephraimhope.org. And that football signed by the team, donated to us by the team to help raise money for these kids. That's on the auction block. What a Christmas gift. Just imagine the father-in-law that you'd really like to repair your relationship with on Christmas morning, opening up an autographed football from maybe the college football-bound BYU Cougars. That can be yours if the price is right.
That's right.
How about that endorsement? That just came out. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, you got to get. Honestly, you were the first one that said it. You said it I don't know how many weeks ago. What if this team just keeps on winning and they win 11 games and they win a Big 12 championship and go to the college football playoff? Yeah. That's all still on the table right now, which is amazing.
It's been quite a ride. Let's get to our campus notes presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. BYU Pathway makes truly affordable, fully online, spiritually based college degrees accessible to folks worldwide through greatly reduced tuition, weekly peer gatherings, and English support, highlighting helping students earn sooner, increase their income, and deepen their faith. Everybody can do it. Learn more at byupathway.edu. This program's designed to educate the world, and we encourage you to take advantage of it. Let's start with BYU Hoops.
Here we go. Oh, by the way, Michael Zimmerman says, Blaine, that's why I watch this live, so he doesn't have ads. Right?
Good point.
Good point.
Well, there are some that listen to the podcast.
Lots of people listen to the podcast, and that's all good. We got to give them an opportunity too. So here we go. Let's start with men's basketball. 6-1 for the start. The only loss is to Defending national champ UConn, basically on the road in Boston. AP Top 25, they're ranked number 9. How about the Big 12, Dave? Like, is this the best basketball conference in America? Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Arizona's number 2. Houston is number 8. BYU's number 9. Iowa State is number 10. So 4 teams in the top 10. Texas Tech is 19. Kansas is 21. BYU's net ranking is 13. The first net rankings were released today.
Yeah, and that's the one that pretty much is used by the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. So we'll follow that each week here on the show. Dawson Baker announcing today on his Instagram that he has a torn ACL and his season is over. Sustained that injury in the Thanksgiving Day game against Miami. We all saw him go down, and then he was in a wheelchair watching the next day against Dayton. Injuries have riddled his career. Such a outstanding young man. He loves BYU. Started somewhere else, but transferred in. We wish him the best as he rehabs and moves forward. We're told he might have a medical redshirt option, but we'll see. But right now he's just in the start of a long and arduous rehab, and we wish Dawson the very best. As for those games, BYU beat Dayton 83-79 to win the Invitational there in Orlando, to win the championship on Friday. Richie had 29. As you mentioned, he was 6 of 10 from the three-point line, tournament MVP. Rob Wright had 23. AJ had 18. It was a sloppy first half. Cougars trailed by 6 at the break. They were much better in the second half. And we think of Dayton, we think back in 2022, BYU rallied from 23 down to beat them. They just rallied from 9 down to beat them this time around.
Yeah. And how about that Big 3, though? They really are turning into one of the best Big 3 in college basketball with Saunders, Wright, and DeBonsa. BYU beat Miami 72-62 on Thanksgiving in the first round of that tournament. Kennard Davis' suspension ended, and he came back with 18 points. AJ had 16 and 8 boards. Keba Keita was ridiculous inside in this game with 10 boards and 7 blocked shots. It's the most blocks in a game since Sean Bradley had 10 against Virginia in 1991.
And he was 7'6", Sean Bradley.
She should have had 15 a game.
Up next, Cal Baptist. They're 7-0. They're number 63 in the net. At BYU, which is 6-1, Wednesday at the Delta Center up in Salt Lake, 7 Mountain Time on ESPN+. We'll see you there on the call for that one. Excited to see him there because after that game, they head back to New York.
Right, then they've got Clemson in Madison Square Garden. That's on December the 9th. That's a 7 p.m. ESPN game. So
can you believe that? The world we're in now where the Cougs are playing on ESPN in the middle of the week at Madison Square Garden.
It's pretty darn amazing, actually. So pretty fun. Women's basketball, I think a lot of people are surprised that they're 7-1 to start this season. Cindy Bentley named Big 12 Freshman of the Week and a member of the Big 12 starting 5 after performance at the Paradise Jam Invitational in the Virgin Islands. Number 17 Vanderbilt beat BYU 84-71 on Saturday in the championship game. That's their only loss. And their best opponent up to this point, nationally ranked opponent, but they played solid. Hudgens had 24 points, 4 of 5 from 3, 12 boards. Bentley had 11 points, and the problem is Vandy outscored BYU 30-4 in points off of turnovers.
Turnovers were brutal.
Yeah, Vanderbilt only forced 5, and BYU. At the same time, Vandy has 5 turnovers, had 19 turnovers.
That was it against a top 20 team in a tight game, 1-point game at halftime. And I thought, hey, you know what? This team's showing us something because Delaney Gibbons hasn't played in any of these games.
They need Delaney's ball handling to not have 19 turnovers.
And her scoring. BYU beat Virginia Tech, which was a bit of a surprise, 64-60. Benali had 18 points and 7 assists. Brindley Cannon, 7 points and 7 rebounds. And as mentioned, Gibb missed both of those games. She's been out for a while with a leg issue, and we're hoping that she gets back sooner than later because this team is pretty good.
They're better than anybody expected.
Yeah, and Lee Kamar's got them
playing really well.
Got them playing good. Up next, Washington State against BYU Wednesday at 2 up at the Delta Center. So we got the nightcap. Spencer and Kristen will have the day game for the women there at the Delta Center on Wednesday, and then BYU's at Portland Saturday night. Both those games on ESPN+. Plus.
Women's volleyball, 22-8, 10-8, national ranking of 22. Final Big 12 standings, BYU is tied for 6th place. They finished on a 4-game win streak. They beat number 23 Colorado 3-1 on Saturday. Sully Davis had 16 kills in 11 days. She just continues to be dominating. They defeated Utah 3-2 at Smith Fieldhouse last Wednesday. Davis breaks a 40-year record in kills for a BYU freshman.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. She has 523 so far. That's crazy. So up next, the NCAA tournament. BYU will be the 5 seed versus Cal Poly Thursday at 6 p.m. in Los Angeles. The winner faces 4 seed USC, Princeton winner Friday or Saturday. And by the way, this is BYU's 14th straight NCAA tournament appearance for women's volleyball. Congrats to Heather Olmstead and her crew. The Big 12 put 8 teams in the tournament this year, by the way.
By the way, Pete Thamel of ESPN just posted this story. I'll just read a first little bit. The Penn State coaching search, which has gone quiet the past few weeks, is focused in on BYU coach Kalani Sitake, sources told ESPN. The sides have been in discussions, but sources caution that no deal has been signed yet. The sides have met, and there's mutual interest with discussions involving staffing and other details, what Sitake's tenure in College Station would look like. That's the latest from ESPN. And Pete Thamel, who seems to have a pretty good handle on stuff.
Pete's got some kind of insiders because he seems to always be a little bit ahead of everybody else on the scoops, doesn't he?
Yeah. But no deal in place. And just as they're talking, as he says, discussions have happened between the two. They're also happening between the other two.
Right.
BYU
we know that too.
And the coach. Women's cross country, Jane Hedegren is the Mountain Region Athlete of the Year. Diljit Taylor, the Mountain Region Coach of the Year. And so we'll have both of those on the show here in coming weeks.
Yeah. Track and field indoor season begins Saturday for both the men's and women's teams in the Sharon Collier Danville season opener in Boston. So we go right from cross country to indoor track in the winter and then to outdoor track and field in the spring. We want to remind you that campus notes are presented by BYU Pathway Worldwide. That was a lot of campus notes tonight.
That was. There's so much going on. It's great. I love this show because in 2 hours we can just get it all.
Try to cover it all.
And that's what we're trying to do. Our campus notes again, and we love BYU Pathway Worldwide. We'll have another graduate on the show next week.
Yeah.
Excited about that. Cougars in the NFL on Sunday. Dolphins. I don't know if Zach Wilson's ever going to see the light of day, but they're playing the Jets. This would be a good game to do.
It'd be fine
for him in New York.
Yeah, love to see him play.
Steelers are at the Ravens with Kyle Van Noy. You will see him.
Yeah, the Saints and Taysom Hill are at the Bucks. And the Bears are at the Packers. The Packers, Zane Anderson, one of the great BYU stories. Walk on at BYU, or as free agent in the NFL and playing. And Chris Brooks also with the Packers.
Vikings with Tyler Batty, the Commanders. Seahawks are at the Falcons with Tyler Algier. Would love for Tyler to get traded to the Chiefs.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
Or the Rams with Puka Nacua at the Cardinals. Did you see Puka's catch the other day?
Puka he does something
every
phenomenal
week. He does
every
something
time.
Just crazy where everybody just goes, "How did he do that?" He just topped himself. He made another crazy catch. That might be the catch of the year. Amazing. The Bengals with the number 1 punter in the National Football League, Ryan Rico, at the Bills, and Ryan just came on their bye week and spoke to the Cougs, spoke to the team, and then Texans and the Chiefs. Chiefs with Kingsley Suamataia at guard, and Andy Reid, the head coach, of course.
That's Sunday Night Football. That's a big one for the Chiefs. They're on the outside of the playoffs.
They gotta go on a streak now.
Trying to get in there. On this day, on December 1st, we'll go with some history, and I'll start at 1885. The first Dr. Pepper ever served was served at Morrison's Old Corner Drugstore in Waco, Texas, on this day in 1885.
And my wife's been drinking the Diet Virgin ever since.
That's the birthplace. I learned on my mission that Waco, Texas is the birthplace of Dr. Pepper, and that birth took place today.
Wow.
1885.
In 1913, the Ford Motor Company institutes the world's first moving assembly line to build the Model T Ford.
That's a pretty big development.
That was a big deal.
1940, on this day, 4 sets of brothers play in the same NHL game. The Blackhawks against the Rangers. Boy, that would be a tough one for the parents.
Yeah. In 1956, Frank Robinson is named the American League Rookie of the Year.
Also in that year, the United States beats Russia to win their 4th consecutive gold medal in men's basketball. Bill Russell and Casey Jones led the way for Team USA.
Is Bill Russell the greatest winner of all time?
I think so.
Won more NBA championships. He won a high school state championship. Then he won national championships in college, and then more world championships than anybody in the NBA, and he also won gold medals.
It helped that he was a giant.
Yeah, at that time, he was a giant. Yeah. He's the greatest winner of all time. I think we can all agree with that. 1971, John Lennon and Yoko Ono released their holiday song, Happy Xmas, War is Over.
Yeah, it's on the radio like every 5 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
And so it was released on this day. 1973, Jack Nicklaus wins the Walt Disney World Open to become the first player to reach $2 million in PGA Tour earnings, first career, $2 million. This year alone, Scotty Scheffler earned over $49 million in PGA Tour money.
$2 million? That's like you finish sixth in the tournament now and you get $2 million.
Yeah, how about that?
That is crazy. 1984, I remember this. Beverly Hills Cop premieres in Los Angeles with Eddie Murphy.
One of the greatest quoted movies of all time.
Yeah.
1984 on this day, Doug Flutie wins the Heisman Trophy, and he won it for throwing that bomb against Miami.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Doug Flutie won the Heisman Trophy against Miami, and Ty Detmer won the Heisman Trophy against Miami.
Yes, he did.
The Miami game for both of those quarterbacks vaulted them into to the front runner in the Heisman Trophy race.
And Ty won that trophy on this day in 1990.
There you go.
And Ty was on our show earlier tonight. It was fantastic.
So good. If you missed that, you came on late, man, you got to.
It's right there for you.
You got to go find it because Ty was awesome.
Wiseguys.com or on the Facebook feed. You just scroll back and watch that. On our YouTube channel, it's always there. He was great.
And he talked about things like we talked about the Heisman Trophy and we reminisced about that year and all of that, but also talked about the Kalani situation. We talked about the way college football is messed up with their schedules and it causes problems like this. And he also talked about a little bit of preview for Texas Tech this Saturday. So Ty covered it all.
I think my favorite part was when he answered the question, what do you think LaVell would tell Kalani tonight? And then I thought Ty, who had great insights with LaVell and with Kalani, I thought that was really cool. So that's there sitting for you, and we invite you to check it out.
It was interesting. He said, if it had been NIL, he said LaVell probably would have told him to transfer his senior year and go make a bunch of money.
Yeah,
and then been his best supporter and call him every month and check in on him. That's how LaVell was.
That's how he was.
Whatever's best for the guys.
December 1st birthdays, 1761, Madame Tussauds, the founder of the Wax Museum.
Yeah, I've never been in one. Have you ever been in one?
I went through one in Vegas. It's a little creepy.
Yeah, I think it is.
1930. You expect them to move.
Yeah. December 1st, 1939. Whose birthday is that? Lee Trevino, a great golfer.
Pride of El Paso. 1945, Bette Midler was born.
Yeah, she's, man, one of the greatest entertainers ever. Yeah. Her Johnny Carson show, when she was the last guest on Johnny Carson, she sang to him, wow. That was pretty powerful.
I liked her when she was on Seinfeld playing softball.
Oh my goodness, she's done so many things. She's one of the great entertainers of all time. So yeah, for sure. Sing, dance, act, you name it, she can do it. 1992,
Javi, come on.
Oh, Javi Baez.
I'll take this one.
You have to do because I don't even care about the Cubs.
Javi Baez, the Cubs World Series
Ask me
champion,
about the Mets or the Yankees, not the Cubs.
Was born on this day in 1992.
Javi Baez.
Javi Baez.
Baez. What position does he play?
He played shortstop for the Cubs.
Okay.
Now he's in the outfield for the Tigers. Come on.
Well, that's why I forgot about him, because he's with the Tigers and nobody watches the Tigers.
That's a good save.
So, December 1st, deaths. 2008, Elder Joseph B. Worthland, the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, passed away on this day in 2008.
Did you know he played football at the U?
Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah.
Back in the day. 2012, speaking of the U, Rick Majerus passed away on this day. Basketball coach up there.
Yeah, I had lots of interesting interactions with Rick when I was covering the league when he was the head coach.
Interesting guy.
He did teach me a lot of things about basketball. I'm going to give him credit for that. 2023, Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female Supreme Court justice, passed away on this day.
Our Wise Guys inspirational quote of the week is from Elder Joseph B. Worthland, who said,
"Sometimes the greatest love is not found in the dramatic scenes that poets and writers immortalize. Often the greatest manifestations of love are the simple acts of kindness and caring we extend to those we meet along the path of life." Amen to that.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
Elder Joseph B. Worthland. Our thanks to Ty Detmer, who we congratulate on the 35th anniversary of winning the Heisman Trophy, and Tagert Baron, the chapter chair of the BYU alumni group in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And
they got great things planned this weekend.
Man, oh man. So the tailgate ahead of the game is Friday night.
I want to go for the Friday night tailgate.
Across the street inside Globe Life Field. Inside the
And it's
baseball
free.
stadium. You can get in for free. So if you're going to the game, plan on that. Then when you get in there, you can buy popcorn and nachos because they're opening up the concession stands, which might be for the first time ever in December. They've done that over at Globe Life Field. So some alumni, some alums rented out the whole place. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be thousands of BYU fans because there's nothing going on Friday night before the big game.
You got to go down. The game's early. You're going to be down there. If you're down there, go to the tailgate and go hang out with your BYU family over at the baseball stadium.
I hope they get the band over there, cheerleaders, Cosmo. Man, that'll be fun. You won't even want to go to sleep because you just want to stay up all night and then go over to the football game across the street. But that's at 6 o'clock there in Arlington from 6 to 9 on Friday night. So it was great to have Tagert with us, and they've got a great like a 4-pronged service project.
Oh, man.
They're going to change the world.
Yeah, they really are. So next week, Tom Homo. And a recap of the Big 12 championship game and preview what's next.
Because there will be a what's next.
Can we ask him, are you glad you weren't the AD when all this stuff was going down last week? Can we ask him that?
Let's hope it's all cleared up so he'll come
I think
on.
it'll be all cleared up and hopefully he comes down. But I just mark it down because I'm going to ask him, are you glad you weren't the AD through all of this stuff?
Yeah.
So or would he like to be in the middle of it? You know?
He did it for a long time.
He sure did. He was part of a lot of these discussions.
We'll have a great. He's been on before. We're gonna have a great visit with what's next in his life, and there's no bigger BYU football fan.
That's right. That's right. Played here and coached here.
We'll get his take on the game, and then there's going to be another game. It's going to either be a bowl game or a college football playoff.
There's 2 more games for sure. Maybe 3 or 4. Hopefully 3 or 4. So
super busy week.
Yeah, where are you going to find us? So obviously, if we're going to be on podcast. This is going to re-air as a broadcast or podcast tomorrow. So if you didn't catch it all, go catch it on the podcast wherever you find your podcast. And then you and I have after further review tomorrow. It'll be available on the BYU TV app and ESPN Plus at 5 p.m. And you can stream it anytime from 5 p.m. on. That's going to be a good show because we're also going to go back to some plays from the Texas Tech game and talk about lessons learned. Yes, we are. And that'll be, we love that show. And then we have another after further review. Our season finale is the following week after. We got a good show. We've already had our production meeting. We've got a good show for you tomorrow. Wednesday night, we'll be on the call for BYU and Cal Baptist at the Delta Center at 7 o'clock Mountain Time on ESPN Plus. Looking forward to that. Yeah, and then Saturday, BYU Sports Nation Game Day, 8 a.m. What time does that mean we have to be in studio? 6. And that's late because normally it would be 3 hours. Normally it would be 5, but they cut us a break. We have to do all of our pre-work on Friday so we can go in at 6. But we won't be freezing like the other days. We'll be indoors. True. But it's going to be an awesome 2 hours leading up. And Spencer will be live inside AT&T Stadium. So wake up and watch the pregame show. We'll get you ready for kickoff. And then the postgame show on BYU TV app and ESPN Plus immediately following. And then, Dave, you'll be in the Deseret News all week. Plenty of articles. It's going to be one of those weeks. It's one of those weeks you live for as a BYU fan. And then, what's going to happen the next week? The basketball team's going to be at Madison Square Garden. It's just we're just in this thing. And we can read the enthusiasm and feel it from the stream of a most unique time that we're living in. And you know what? It's even more so because Penn State's trying to hire BYU's football coach, and that has never happened before. Never happened before. And the last, there's a question there. So Kalani staying with a question mark. We've been following. There's no definitive answer to give you so far tonight. He could go and he could stay, and that's kind of where we're at. But the pendulum has certainly swung from the extreme to the extreme. If you've been following Twitter today, you probably have whiplash. Yeah, going from all maybe we ought to take a break from Twitter for a little bit and take a chill and let this thing play out. Both institutions are trying to work this thing out, and we do know it's going to play out. Yep. And I have a feeling it's going to play out before Saturday. I think within the next day. And National Signing Day is Wednesday. That's kind of a benchmark there. Yeah. You can't lose your coach going into National Signing Day. And why is Penn State in such a hurry all of a sudden? Because it's National Signing Day for them too. Right. They want to tell all the recruits that have committed, look who we've got. This guy's phenomenal. So they got to have somebody in place or it really hurts recruiting.
We remind you, Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, supplies plus support. Find out more at bradyplus.com.
And by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com.
By Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. See how Eddie can serve your team at eddie.com.
And our Relight Athlete of the Week is presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. And this week's Relight Athlete of the Week is Richie Saunders.
Boy, he deserved it. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. So enjoy championship week. And I think we'll have a lot to talk about when we get back together next week.
Oh, man, we're going to have a lot to talk about next week. So
tell your
come back,
friends.
Come back, tell your friends. Everybody bring a friend with them. I think some people brought a friend with them tonight. Looks like the numbers were up for the live stream tonight.
Yeah, better than we've ever had.
Yeah, and so bring another friend with you next week.
Like a double friend?
Yeah, bring 2 friends.
Yeah, bring all your friends, and let's keep this thing going. We'll keep you posted on social media on the Kalani sweepstakes. But as we say goodnight here on this Monday night, a few folks on the podcast listening later in the week, we're live on Mondays and then the podcast. We just don't know.
Yep.
We got an idea. We both think he'll stay, but we could both be wrong.
Yeah, we absolutely could be wrong.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. It's great being with you as always. We'll see you next time.